Maybe movies. Murder. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Fungal. No, Fungal. In fact, this week it's all about the murder.
Murder.
There's been a murder.
It is all about the murder as we leap into the second half of our February matchup of Clue and Jumanji.
So this is...
Clumanji.
Yes, I thought so. I like that name so much better.
It is pretty good, isn't it? I came up with that one myself. Thanks for joining us again. This is Maybe Movies, where my esteemed colleague and I fabricate theoretical films in an effort to rinse our mouths of the deluge of unnecessary sequels and remakes that seem to be plaguing Hollywood at the moment.
Washing the mouth, anyway. Yes, the mouth with the washing. Including,
as I saw yesterday, and it didn't look like some dodgy AI fan-made trailer, Groundhog Day 2.
Whoa. No!
Featuring, as she seems to be all of the rage at the moment, Margaret Quilley.
Who?
Have you seen The Substance?
No.
Okay. You know...
The young version of Demi Moore in
yes,
The Substance?
Who is... What's her name's daughter? From Groundhog Day. Andy McDowell. She was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Dude, I've only watched that movie once.
Okay, so the girl that Brad Pitt gives a lift back to...
On the way back from the ranch or the way to the ranch? Yeah, I know the one you mean. Yeah.
That's Andy McDowell's daughter.
Oh my goodness.
And so now she's going to be in this one as their daughter.
No. Stop it, Hollywood. Stop it. Naughty.
He's out of line, but he's right.
What he said. So, we had a bit of a bumper start to the year last week.
I suppose we... Sorry, oh my goodness, I can't believe.
I came out of that one with a whole gaggle of stars. 7 stars.
7? Goodness me. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
This one is the one that I thought initially was going to be the better of the two, but I don't know. It's going to be...
No, I'm not...
We kind of have our work cut out for us.
So I think we kind of have to have a quasi-peach meeting? I could eat peach for hours.
No peaches were hurt in the making of this episode.
Anybody who can name that reference wins.
Speaking of winning, there's no prizes, but I will just mention at this point as well, before I forget. Obviously, when this episode goes out, we will also be putting up our viewers poll for this month. So watch over this episode, watch over last week's, have a think, see which one you think is the best, which one you would want to appeal to the movie gods to have made into a film that you could go and see at the cinema. Vote on it on all of our usual places. That will be on our community tab here on YouTube. It will be on our Instagram story for about 24 hours. And it will also be on the Zadrum Twitter page as well. And those will be running through until middle of next week, when we will collate those and announce the winner at next month's show.
So please, guys, let us know what you think. We want to know.
He's kind of gone full on hooked collar preppy, hasn't he?
Very preppy. I'm sorry. Are you trying to exert your superiority? You have us captive here. How do you need to feel more superior?
Absolute power corrupts absolutely, doesn't it?
Oh, gosh, yes it does.
Sorry, you were saying, pitch meeting.
Yeah, we kind of have to have a little mini pitch meeting here. Because one of the things is that in the original, we had 6 characters, of course, the 6 usual players of the game. But in this new version, it feels to me like we've only got 4.
Yes, we've got our 4 core cast.
That feels a bit limiting. I mean, because obviously we're playing with a magical game here. Is there a way that we can have the other characters that the players aren't playing be like NPC characters, like, you know, Yvette and the cook and Wadsworth were in the original, or...
I don't think we can, because that reduces the stakes, because then there's the possibility that not one of our core cast is potentially the murderer.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Okay.
So we should really throw in another couple of characters. Because it's a magical game.
Yeah.
In the same way that Jumanji has rules for the X amount, well, like 2 to 4 players, or whatever it is.
Mm.
If we say that for 6 players.
Yes.
But because it's a magical game, it will gather players as they present themselves. So whoever starts the game or tries to start the game, it will put them kind of in stasis until there are enough players for the game to take place.
Okay. I see what you're saying. All right. Yes, but with like the caveat, the original Jumanji introduced this idea that if you accidentally make a play, you join the game.
Yeah, that should totally be a thing.
So we should have our extra players accidentally join the game.
Oh, okay.
Who are we going to pick?
I think the obvious choice would be Alan's parents. Because if we're saying that him and Sarah get sucked into the game or become a part of the game at the start of the film, the next people to find the game will be his parents when they come home from the dinner party. Or from the presentation that he's giving.
That makes sense. I've got Dad's name. He is Sam Parrish.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have Mom's name. I don't know.
Because that would still work with Judy and Peter, because if all three of them, or all four of them, obviously including Sarah, disappear in 1969, the town is still going to...
All the timeline happens the way it sets up in the original story.
The family just disappeared. Nobody knows what happened to them.
And instead of him dying, he just disappeared like his son did.
Yeah.
I think that works. I think that could work.
Yep, I agree.
Is that a because movie?
Hold on to that, because there's another thing that I wanted to bring up as well that just cropped up just before we started filming.
Oh, okay.
Because, as we said in our pitch meeting last week, or the pitch part of last week, now in Clue the film, they do something that the game doesn't do, and throws in motivation.
That did cross my mind a little while back.
Yes.
Do we lose that? Because it's not a part of the game.
No, it's just who did it.
Who did it, with what, where.
If we want to include that, I think rather than... Obviously, everybody's being blackmailed. Everybody has an individual motive for killing Mr. Body. He represents something to everybody for the purposes of the game.
All right, well, where's this going?
The obvious one would be for Alan, and to a lesser extent for Sarah as well, that this Mr. Body is grown-up Billy Jessup.
Oh... I can see this being a problem, but I can see this also being very interesting. Like we sucked Billy into the game.
What doesn't even...
Or is it like a Van Pelt's kind of situation?
It's a Van Pelt's kind of situation.
Right. Well, that could also work too.
Yeah. For Peter and Judy, it's the motorist that ran their parents off the road.
The Traveller. The very first one turns up.
Oh, okay. No, I was talking about Mr. Body himself.
Oh,
so
I see.
All got a reason
so they've all got Sorry, I was getting distracted.
Yeah. And then we'd have to invent something for his parents, possibly somebody wanting to come in and buy out Paris shoes or something.
Are we just focusing on Mr. Body? Or are we having the extra murders in the game?
I think we have to have the extra murders as well. So there's room to play with that. If we are happy that Mr. Body's murder...
There's been a murder in Kelvinside.
...is just a condition of the game, it's going to happen regardless, then we can keep those concepts.
So all the extra characters are people that are related to the players?
Yes.
I'd like that so much more. Have one.
Yeah.
I like that so much more. That's a really good start.
But to come back to your original point of whether or not including parish seniors as part of the game...
Is that a because movie? Because obviously that's fundamentally changing the cast.
I think it will be. I think we'd have to use it as that.
Okay, so no get out of jail here, folks. We are stuck with what we've got from this point onwards.
But sorry, before we go any further, very quickly, just two very quick pieces of errata from last week.
Oh, right.
So the first one was we never officially wrote out Professor Plum.
Oh.
We lost him, but we didn't say when. The last time we mention him is in his monkey man state, helping people up onto the chandeliers to get to higher ground during the monsoon.
Yeah.
So just to fill that in that gap, I was going to suggest that in helping Mrs. White out of the monsoon, he falls in and gets eaten by the crocodile, which then puts her in peril, and then Mr. Green goes in and saves her, as we originally said.
Didn't I say somebody should get eaten by a crocodile?
Yes, but we never specified who.
Yeah, exactly. So that works. So
that does work.
Ties up in a little neat bow.
So will be. So there will be a thing here about that now. The other one, though, was we said Yvette got killed, but we never said how.
Oh, God. How far back is that? That's like Act 1, isn't it?
No. It was towards the end of Act 2. If it gets killed, how it happens is up to you in your own personal version of the film.
If any of you can give us a good reason how Yvette got killed, we'll give you a cushion.
We can start the film.
Yes, God, we haven't even started yet. Oh my goodness.
It's fine, because most of Act 1 is going to pretty much run on rails.
Right, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions right away.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to start with 1869?
Why not?
So what is it in...
Well, I kind of suggested last time that maybe... Because I know Clue itself wasn't invented till about 1904, but what if the game that we know as Clue or Cluedo was invented by somebody who played this weird supernatural game? And there are two brothers who bury it.
Are you saying they're the Parker brothers? Oh, dude! You're on a roll. Take one. Yeah, do it. Do it, dog! Right, so, yes, we definitely have 1869. And then we move on to 1969.
So everything up until, basically...
The game begins.
Him and Sarah sit down to play the game.
Yeah.
I suppose the only thing we'll get different, we don't get jungle drums. We get...
Doorbell. Jinga, 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 jing.
Either that or some kind of suspense music? Like some thriller noir music?
One of those harp runs.
Yeah.
Oh, no, right.
You can have one back, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you. God, I was wondering if I was ever going to get one.
No, that's a good one. No, again, as you said, it's been a long time since I've played Cluedo myself.
Yes.
Does everyone start in a different room, or do they all start in the same room?
I can't remember if they're fixed locations, but everybody starts in a different room.
Well, which way do we want to do it? Do we have everybody starting together in the hall?
I feel like we should lean a little bit into Clue itself and have everybody arrive at the door.
Okay.
Because that gives us the bits with Wadsworth and the whole, oh, how did I get this big? Yeah. Or, all those little introductory... strange, because we're changing the game here. We're taking kids and turning them into adults.
Yes.
So we can have some comedy there, and that's where a lot of the comedy in the first act lies, is in Wadsworth's introduction as
each person turns up.
Yeah.
As we said, everything is the same up until they start playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as they get the board, so they open up the board, they pick up the pieces, again, a bit like in the thing, the pieces fly off and land on the board. Maybe there's like a creaking in the building around them, which kind of signifies that they are no longer technically in reality. And then they start going through some weird changes. And then we can just almost like cut away to a bit later that evening. Parents come home, there's no one around, they find the game open. Call for Alan, nobody's there. They find the game, well, obviously playing a game.
So I'm imagining father picks up the dice. Another childish game.
Yes.
What's going on here? And he drops them down.
And the pieces leap up. And then we cut to... Yeah, because it said 95, isn't it? So it's 26 years later.
New house. We don't get the bats in the attic. What do we get? So, obviously, they can hear the harp. Instead of bats in the attic, we've got rats or mice or cockroaches. They have to call in the exterminator so he can tell them the story about...
Of course, about what happened to the parishes.
And then they hear the sound... And then it's straight away from there, because as soon as they play, they get sucked into the game, don't they?
So do we then want to make that our end of Act 1? Is that now going to be the start of the game?
Well, sort of. I think what we'll do is...
We'll introduce the cast?
We'll introduce the cast, like, the whole previously, sort of, and here's the bit with Wadsworth answering the door with the various characters. And the last two are them. And then Alan says, oh my God, do you mean it's my turn at last? Because... I'm back.
Somebody roll a 5 or an 8.
So that was going to be my next question. Have they, as I say, essentially been in stasis? So for them, it's the blink of an eye. They've disappeared and then the game starts? And they're not aware of what's happened?
I don't know. Because, consequentially to the story, it doesn't matter. But I do like the bit of them being stuck there for ages and like being aware of it. I mean, that gives them a reason to be really invested in getting out of the game. It's not just where the hell am I? It's I've been here for 26 years. I need out.
So they've been driving on this road, and every time
they already arrived. So, you know, we do the bit blah, 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 at the beginning, and the parents disappear, and then we cut to 26 years later, and the kids do the thing, and then we cut to a cutscene of previously, everybody arriving one after another from Wadsworth's point of view.
Gotcha.
And then the kids go, do you mean it's finally my turn?
I can't have any more scotch.
Yes, because he's a kid, isn't he? I've got to be sick.
With regards to, and again, this is something else I was going to say, I meant to say at the beginning. The setting for this is the parish house instead of Mr. Body's house. So to lean in something that's kind of more, it's more of a recent thing with board games. Does this magical game customize itself to its players? So it is Clumanji, the parish edition. Or like Clumanji, the Brantford Falls, whatever the town is, edition.
I understand what you're saying. I'm going to do what I usually do. I kind of like the idea, but where do we go with it?
Because we kept the characters in Juedo as Mr. Green, Miss Scarlet. If we do that, then it means that the players can play themselves, if you like. So Alan remains Alan. We don't have to say, right, would Alan be Mr. Green, or whatever. I mean, we could signify the characters that they are supposed to represent by the colours that they wear. Yeah, by the colours that they wear and things like that. But they still can go by their own names.
Yeah, because they are the characters in the game.
Yeah.
And it's not them playing a role. They're going, what the hell's going on?
Yeah. So the game customises itself so people can still be themselves.
Alan would be Mr. Green.
That's what I was thinking, based on what we did last time.
His father would be Colonel Mustard, which is kind of a reference to Pelt.
Exactly. Nice. Pelt.
Van Pelt.
Pelt. Sorry, yes.
So I think then his mother would become Mrs. Peacock.
I think so. She wore the nice dress, didn't she?
Yes.
Who's Miss Scarlet?
Yeah, it has to be Sarah or Judy.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, we'll get grown up Kirsten Dunst. And it's Bradley Pierce is the little boy who plays Peter. Who I looked it up. I don't think he's done a lot of. I think he's done a few other bits and pieces film-wise, but I think he does a lot of voiceover work. Apparently, in the Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon, he did the voice of Tails.
Weren't you scared, Sonic?
All right. Okay. Cool.
Which seemed kind of appropriate considering what happens to Peter.
Yeah, so it's like, all right, we're getting distracted.
Yes.
Sorry, tangent. Tangent alert.
Yes.
I suppose in that sense, Sarah would be Miss Scarlet, but that weirdly leaves Judy as Miss White. Oh, this is a question. So, do we use time travel shenanigans and go the adult version?
That's what we said before.
Yeah, we did. Okay, sorry, I couldn't remember. I think it works.
Yeah.
I think it works. Yeah.
So
I don't see any serious problems with it.
So Peter is Professor Plum.
Oh yeah, of course it is. Yeah, all grown up
with a pipe. But he's still a kid, so the pipe so when he's got the pipe
with bubbles,
exactly. Yeah, a bubble pipe. Yeah, we get our starting. Everybody gets introduced. They go through to dinner. At dinner, Mr. Body arrives. Wadsworth says, "This is Mr. Body. This is his house." Blah blah blah. One of you is going to kill him.
And then Mr. Body comes out with all the presents.
Yes. Yeah.
Giving them all the
which makes it even weirder because he's like, yes, one of you is going to kill me. Here's the tools to do it.
That's so creepy. I like it. That's really good, yeah.
And then the lights go out. Scream, shot, all of that kind of stuff. And I think that's our end of act there.
Because we had a lot more preamble.
Exactly. Yeah. Zadrum is more than just curious content on YouTube. We're also a small publishing house with books covering a range of genres from 1940s pulp adventure to children's novels and even a touch of the macabre for those who like their literature on the dark side. Our titles are available in both paperback and ebook formats. Ebooks are available on Amazon, but physical copies can only be bought exclusively through our website at zadrum.com. Jeff's got enough cash as it is, so why not help us little guys grow and thrive? Links can be found in our banner and in the description to all of our videos, and we look forward to helping you indulge your itch for escapism. So, we have a body. In this case, unlike Clue, we have a body.
Wow.
He's not faking it. He is dead.
He's dead, Jim.
For this to work, it has to be that.
To try and keep in with those conceits of the board game Cluedo, Mr. Body is dead. We've had the screams, we've had noises, we had a gunshot, all of this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. We should probably hear everything, so it should be somebody being strangled, somebody being shot, somebody being thunked over the head with a pipe.
Exactly. But when the lights come up, the weapons have mysteriously disappeared.
Oh.
And there is no mark on Mr. Body as to how he died.
Oh!
But he is definitely dead.
I'll tell you what, you can have a star if I can have one for the sound effects, please.
Of course. Absolutely. We can use this moment as well, because I know we kind of glossed over it a bit in Act 1. We want to throw some character interactions in here, obviously fueled by Wadsworth. Mm-hmm. Whether that's his father, Sam, isn't it? Sam
yes. Parrish, yes.
Berating Robin Williams, or rather he's trying to encourage him, but Robin Williams, because of that friction with his father when they were children.
Come on, young man, you know how to do this. Come on, you know how this works. You've played this game before.
But he kind of sees it himself that he's berating him, even though he's not.
Of course, yes.
And because
stiff upper lip, old chap.
Mm-hmm. As you said originally for last time, we get that fueled with that polite, correct behaviour from Wadsworth as our antagonising force from him as well.
Yes, so maybe every time the conversation starts to get out of hand, Wadsworth will be like, well, indeed, sir, it could be taken from that point of view, but have you considered from this? And he does something to gently diffuse
the situation.
Because players aren't meant to murder each other, so his job is to keep them on track, isn't it?
Keep them on track, but also, there's also always that suggestion that he's not exactly on their side.
Yes, I was going to ask, should we play it that way?
I think so.
Well, there's the trope of the butler doing it, right? Mm-hmm. You know, and that's a classic murder mystery trope, so I feel like we should play into it.
So he's throwing obfuscation everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that's good. That works. That helps grease the wheels of our dialogue.
Throwing something else into this, the murder is the thing that allows a degree of that veneer of respectability to be slightly dragged aside. So what we were saying about Sarah being
dragged aside for who?
For everybody. So it's almost like a comedy of manners in the first act, with kind of like stuff seething underneath the surface. That the murder kind of is the catalyst.
Right, okay, so if I'm understanding it rightly, so what we're doing is literally a bunch of, apart from the two actual adults in the room, a bunch of 12-year-olds pretending to be a sophisticated adult at a dinner party.
Yeah.
Oh, this is jolly nice soup.
Yes.
I never did see silverware like this.
Yes.
Would you like some tea, Mrs. Nesbit?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that works.
One of the things I thought is when Sarah and Alan originally go into the game, as you said, she appears in the game as Miss Scarlet. But then when Judy and Peter come into the game, suddenly Judy becomes Miss Scarlet, and now Sarah is now Mrs. White.
All right.
So when the game
No. I'd like it. Yes, and?
Because that's an itch.
So what happens is when she arrives, they both become grey. And I think Wadsworth has to decide who is now Miss Scarlet, and now you are Miss White. Mm-hmm. Or something like that. I don't know what it is, but we could have a little moment, and that would feed into your, as you say, that antagonism.
To a lesser degree, because he seems like a lovely woman, but his mum as well, because she was never even in consideration for that. She was always Mrs. Peacock.
Always Mrs. Peacock.
So again, that would ruffle her.
Yeah, let's just ruffle everybody's feathers, because we are playing Cluedo, and that's all about suspicion and distrust and stuff, so let's play with that.
Cool.
That feels like we've gotten a couple of scenes in there.
With regards to the actual plot itself, the weapons have disappeared. They are somewhere in the house.
I'm going to ask the next obvious question, because do we have the cook and do we have a vet? I think we vaguely talked about this earlier, but my brain has just lost all sense of it. Do we have them?
I think we cast Aunt Nora appears as Yvette.
All right. Do we want the cook? Do we use the cook to stir the pot? I feel like we want the extra bodies.
We don't have them, but we use those characters from Jumanji and we put them in as the people who arrive. Obviously, we've got... we need somebody for the motorist, don't we? Well, it doesn't have to be a man who's the motorist.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
So Aunt Nora could be the motorist.
All right.
Carl will turn up as the cop.
Cop, yes.
Obviously.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was just thinking. Yeah, okay. Who else do we have? Really don't have any main characters. We've got a couple of named characters. I think it was Laura was the dispatcher.
Well, the realtor.
The dispatcher. You know who Carl was always calling on his cop radio?
Yeah.
I'm sure she was a Laura.
I can't remember.
It was a woman anyway.
Yeah.
But that could be the cook.
It could be.
We get a free casting there because she was never featured in...
Also, the other one would be the realtor, because she gets stung by a mosquito, doesn't she, in Jumanji?
Oh, yes, she does. Wait. I'm getting lost. We've got Carl as the cop. We've got Nora as the motorist.
Yeah.
So we don't have a cook, we don't have an Yvette, and we don't have a singing telegram.
Well, I'd go a different way.
Okay.
I think we feed into what we were saying in Act 1. So the motorist is grown-up Billy Jessup, who, again, could also be there cast as the people who run Judy and Peter's parents off the road. He could be either or to there's a question mark over who he is.
Both.
Or both, yeah.
Both, because that's what Jumanji does, isn't it? So that's both.
Fantastic. We then put Aunt Nora as the singergram.
As the singergram?
But again, it depends on how we want to use her eventually.
Well, I was going to say, because the singergram is literally one scene,
one
whereas
scene,
the cook is like 3.
Yes, the cook makes more sense because she wanted to turn the house into a hostel, didn't she? Or into a guest house.
Ah, yes, okay,
So that does make sense.
Yeah, that works. We were talking about the realtor. That's where I got derailed. So could the realtor be our Yvette or our singergram?
As
the
the
realtor was in a single scene, so I would make her the singing telegram.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so we have no Yvette.
We don't have an Yvette.
That's okay. Wadsworth can field.
Exactly.
We've got Tim Curry on our side. He can deal with all of that shit.
Yes, unless you can find a way to shoehorn Patricia Quinn in there.
Oh, dude. Oh, no, we don't have a Because movie.
We don't, I'm sorry.
Because I would have. You know I would have.
Yes, same. But we don't. Moving on. Yes, so once all the weapons have disappeared, there's no mark on how Mr. Body died, and that's when Wadsworth can say, the weapons are somewhere in the house. It's up to you to solve.
Perhaps you should go and search for clues.
Yes, go and search for clues.
Yes, well, that's what I was seeing before we added all these extra elements. That's what I was seeing, which is nice.
So I take it Sam will try and take charge. Well, we should split into pairs. We should go and do this. We should go and do that. And again, that will undermine Alan because it's his game. He started the game.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice, but I think we can go a step further with that. Sam's thing is about Alan being afraid. Mm-hmm. Maybe, not just Billy is the only thing he's afraid of. Maybe he's afraid of, let's say, for example, the boiler in the basement. And then Sam goes, Alan, you can go check the basement. And there'll be that little...
Yeah.
And then we can play on that. That's the be a man speech that we can put in there. You know,
yes.
We've got bigger things to worry about. Don't you think it's about time that you rose up and took on your responsibilities?
And you could almost have his mum come in and say, no, I'll go with him. No.
Don't coddle the boy.
Don't coddle the boy. You can't be hanging on to your mother's...
apron strings.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, exactly that. Yes.
Do we want adult Sarah to try and defend him? Oh, yes, always hiding behind a woman, aren't you? Or something like that. So it just fuels it even more. At which point Judy and Peter go...
Let's just take half a second here. 1969, I mean, that is kind of the birth of the feminist era. Mm-hmm. So Sarah is that first generation that was raised under that... I don't need a man to tell me what to do.
And we're also dealing with the Sarah here who hasn't had a lifetime in therapy because of what happened to Alan.
Yes.
So that slightly changes her character.
I don't know if we go back and rewrite this, but I'm wondering if we can slide something early on about her mother being a no-nonsense, learn to look after yourself, don't take any crap from a man kind of person. And this would be this coming out in her personality. Because we haven't explored that earlier, have we?
No, we haven't. That's fine.
Because it's like... Alan's being challenged by his father. Alan is challenging his father, but he's also being challenged by Sarah, who she is to Alan.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, cool, yeah.
But while this is going on, we get adult Peter and Judy going, right, well, they're bickering amongst themselves. We'll go off on our own and do their own thing.
Yes, of course.
Because they're just so used to relying on each other.
So the only thing we want to decide, I mean, obviously, the suggestion is... Alan and Sarah go down into the basement. Sam and Mrs., whose name I cannot remember, will go upstairs. Do we send Peter and Judy to the attic, or do we send Sam and Mother to the attic?
I think Judy and Peter want off to the attic, because in Jumanji they spend a lot of time in the attic, and it's also where they find the game.
Yes, which obviously we've already had here.
Have a quick think about what happens next, and while you do that, I'm going to talk to those lovely people at home.
Oh, are you?
I am, and I'm going to do a very quick shout-out.
Prick your ears up, folks. It's coming up soon.
It is. In fact, it's coming up now. So, quick shout-out this week is for another esteemed colleague from a slightly different sphere of the YouTube milieu. This is for our good friend Professor Bill from Comic Book University. So Bill is the go-to guy for all things comics, whether it's Marvel, DC. He has a channel called Comic Book University where he discusses all things comics, as well as putting up videos of role-playing games that he's either been in as a player or that he's GM'd himself. It's a great channel and he's a good friend, and we've been playing some games with him online over the past few weeks, month, or over a year since we started.
It's been a while since you've been down here, yes.
Yeah, and he's a great guy and a good friend, and so do go check his channel out. And as always, Bill, thank you for your support and keep up the great work.
Hey, Bill. Thanks, buddy. See you soon.
They've split off looking for clues.
Yeah, they've split up, and this is where it starts to get a bit wobbly.
Wibbly wobbly.
To give a bit of structure to this, in the study when all of this happens, when Wadsworth lays everything out, he puts 3 envelopes on the desk. A bit like the game.
Mm-hmm. I understand where you're going with this.
And they have to find the murderer. The
murderer of the weapon and the location. See, this is the problem. Oh, God, no, we've got to go back.
No, we don't.
No, we don't?
They don't know that the location doesn't refer to this murder. Because it refers to the murders that may be yet to come.
That have not yet come to pass.
Oh.
Because while they're off exploring, there's a knock at the door.
I will give you a star if you can tell me how we show, but don't tell the audience about this. I will give you the star.
Oh, put on the spot here.
I like it, but it's hard to do it without telling the audience, and I'd like to see us show the audience.
Without showing the audience. So what if it's...
no, go on. You first. You start.
No. See, I was going to say, what if it's like, it's not so much an envelope, it's almost like, not a case, but it's a thing that's got multiple slots in it. And
kind of leaning close to where I was. Mm-hmm. Not a file, not a folder, but folders.
Yes.
Of potential victims. Mm-hmm. And that's what Wadsworth lays out.
Yeah.
That's the something changed in the game. Mm-hmm. What do we do for something changed in the game? Did somebody make an accusation early? Yes, because when somebody makes an accusation, you have to show your evidence.
You do, don't you? Yes. So somebody says, well, the gunshot went off, so it must have been the gun that killed him.
It was in the study, clearly.
And who had the gun? Professor Plum in the game. So it's got to have been Peter. And he says, well, no, because then they say, well, if you look on the wall, there's a gun. There's a bullet hole here.
However, says Mr. Wadsworth, I will lay these files out for you. Perhaps they will guide you in the direction that you need to. So we will literally foreshadow the upcoming arrivals.
Yes.
That works. I like it. Can we both have a star?
Yes. Stars for everyone.
Stars and stars and stars. Well, before we woke up, we had a moment when we were like, is this going to work? Actually, it might. Okay, so we've laid out the files.
Everybody's wandered off to go and have a look for stuff.
We forgot about the cook.
Well, that could happen now. Everybody's off exploring.
Before the files come out or after the files?
I think the files should come out before anybody wanders off around the house.
It should be just like, well, I think it was clearly in the study. Yeah. I heard a gunshot, and it'll be like an immediate accusation. Yeah. And that allows Wadsworth to explain the rules. Mm-hmm. Brilliant. Yeah, okay.
Everyone wanders off, goes for an explore. We get a moment where, for at least a moment or so, people are out of sight of each other.
Mm-hmm. Much like the original film.
Somebody goes into the kitchen.
When you say somebody, are we talking about like the classic POV, seeing a gloved hand open the kitchen door?
Well, my thought was going to be we see one of the characters go into the kitchen and find the body. But it makes more sense that we see somebody, yes, as you say, just the gloved hands go in and you see the cook turn around and go, ah!
Just because we are playing around with a magical game here. There was a time in my youth when I really enjoyed the kinds of murder mysteries that would show a POV shot of the murderer doing the murder. And I feel like that could almost be a part of the game. Like every once in a while, the characters will be interrupted by a vision of what the murderer has just done.
No, that's fantastic.
Yeah?
Because what happens when they get the vision, they get the harp music.
Uh-huh.
To accompany the vision.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's like the Dead Zone thing where he's seeing through the eyes of the killer.
Yes, exactly that.
Yeah, so we get that, and so we see the murderer go, oh, hi, oh, it's you, all that kind of thing, and then, ah! And then...
Exactly, all of that stuff, all of the cliches, because we're
in that milieu, definitely.
We're playing for an audience of 15 to about 9. Don't want to be too bloody, but we want to lean into the cliches of the classic murder mystery.
Of course. So they hear a scream, everybody converges on the kitchen, they find the cook dead.
Dun dun dun.
But same thing. Cook is dead, but no clear signs as to what's killed them.
I don't know if this is going too far, but we could literally have an escalating game every time there's a new murder. It seems that we have new suspects in a new murder. Does anyone know where any of the murder weapons are? It's time to start investigating.
So I think then we need to throw in at some point now, somebody starts to find, they start to find the weapon.
Yes, sorry, I skipped over that entirely.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about the significant events. But yes, of course, they're going to wander around the house. 2 people need to have found murder weapons somewhere in the house before this happens.
I think at some point there should be people wandering around and nobody notices the candlestick over the bathroom door, like in Clue.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful.
Some little things like that.
Yeah, just have one weapon that's just never, and it's just there, but it's never, nobody ever calls it out as a thing. It's just there.
At this point, we get a knock on the door, because we're deep into Act 2 now.
Ring at the doorbell. That would
The motorist.
The motorist, so that'll be...
Going on Billy Jessup, who is...
who are we going to cast as Billy Jessup?
Whoever it was.
Anthony Michael Hall.
Oh, yeah.
He was the right age to be...
Yeah, that would make sense.
He arrives, gets ushered into the study? No, the library.
So there's a kind of a moment with him and Alan, as he recognises Alan, as he recognises Sarah. They appear to be together.
We can have one of the classic moments from Cluedo when everybody goes... and starts pointing fingers at each other, speculating about what motivations there are.
Maybe he says when he comes in, I was so relieved. So I had a bit of an accident down the road. So accident prone. I was a terrible accident up in Canada a year or so ago. So it drops in the hint that maybe this is the guy that ran their parents off the road. It's part of his script. He has to deliver it.
Yep. I understand what you're saying.
Can I use your phone? It's in there.
When they open the door, our character has a flashback to his parents. Crash. Like, really, let's hammer it home. We're making a movie for 10-year-olds.
Yes, we need to lay it on thick.
Yeah, so just, sorry, I feel like really
we need
hammer
to,
it home.
Oh, no, absolutely. So we get his murder, then we do similar kind of thing. By this point, as you say, people keep finding weapons. So is it after each murder the weapons disappear again? Or they start gathering them back into the study?
Thank you. That's kind of leading me back to where my point was. The running joke is people are constantly finding the murder weapons, but as soon as anything happens, they drop them and go to investigate something else.
Gotcha.
So nobody's ever actually got the murder weapons on them or anything like that.
Right. So we get the murder of the motorist. Which again somebody sees. Are we still going to do the same thing where they take the bodies and put them all in the sitting room?
I'm not sure, but I think next...
Carl is, right, yes.
Carl is the cop.
Mm-hmm.
And then we need to start shuffling bodies around.
Because that's the end of our Act 2.
After we've had a bit of shenanigans.
Right.
He's locked in the room and then he gets unlocked and then people are shutting and closing doors.
Are we sticking with that for this?
I don't know about what's in the room, but what's going on here? Again, I feel like we're playing to a younger audience. So I don't think we want to introduce too much peril. I think he's going to be suspicious without pulling his weapon out.
Yes. So can I use your phone? Which means that gives Wadsworth the chance to say, well, you can't tell him anything.
Because we sent him into the library the first time, and we've had all the shenanigans with bodies moving around. We direct him to a different room. And he's like, but I thought it was in the library. Coming to the study, there's a working telephone here. Oh, I'm sorry, that one's malfunctioning, sir.
But what we could also do with this is give Wadsworth a chance to seed in for Sam that Carl never owned up to putting the shoe on the conveyor belt.
Alan was the one who put the shoe on the conveyor belt.
He is, but in the film, Carl says it was him.
I did, sir.
So if we say he hasn't done that, so nobody knows who destroyed the machine back in '69, that then gives a motivation, because it's cost Sam money to get the machine repaired. So there's a motivation for him to kill Carl.
Oh, now this is interesting, because this is the first time we've ventured into naming a character killing someone.
But all of these characters that arrive, people do have motives.
But we never were explicit about anyone doing any particular crime. We are approaching the third act, so changing the terms of the game can be a thing, third act switch, but it does change the name of the game. Kind of frames Sam as a villain. Ignore the original principle, the original message of Jumanji. Just think about how a game can expose different people's personalities.
No, I think we should. I think we're deep enough into this film that we
Maybe
can do
that's the lesson. His father is not a good man because he would make the bad choices, because he's selfish or he's suspicious. Maybe that is the message of the film we're making here. You know, maybe you don't have to be like your parents.
That makes sense. Yeah, I like that.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Because we can also say that could be the message here, but then again, because you've always got Wadsworth who can turn around and basically say, I mean, you could be like that, but who knows? It's just a game. Go on. Lean into it. Something like that.
Well, you know the bit with the multiple endings?
Yes.
I wanted to try and find a way to keep the multiple endings, and I feel like we could get to the end of the movie and then have Wadsworth go, but it could have happened this way.
It's going to come down to that in the end, yes.
Why not roll the dice and start a new game?
Well, I think that's going to be our Act 2.
Oh, sorry, we got so ahead of ourselves.
No, that's good. We found something that we can jump into with this, so that's fine.
We had to change the premise, but I think we've found a way through.
Yeah, we're doing what this does. We're leaning harder into the board game itself.
Yes.
Than Clue does, if you see what I mean.
Mm.
So that makes sense. So, it's still a little bit up in the air.
Mm.
Obviously need to be starting thinking about what the actual solution is here, because, there has to be an actual solution, and I don't think in this particular setup that the butler did it is going to work.
No, it's not like it ever worked in the first place.
Do we need to take a moment and decide for ourselves who the murderer is, or should we just leave it, see how we go until the end?
Traditionally, the bad guy would always be the opposite of whatever you thought.
Yes,
that was
absolutely.
The classic. And, I mean, the way we've set things up at the moment, that feels like Alan's father. It feels like Sam.
But, as you say, I think as my first thought as well was, it's always the last person you suspect.
Yes.
Which, in this setup, would be Alan's mother.
I think you might have a point there.
There has to be another layer to Sam's actions and his attitude and how he treats Alan. Is he shielding her?
I don't know if this works. He's shielding Alan. Don't be weak. Don't be her victim.
Yes. And then... So that then also adds depth and meaning to the presence of Judy and Peter. Because they are people although they are adult versions of children who are growing up without a parent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They have freedom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
We've got something going here.
Yeah, so their presence there is a way of teaching Alan, be like this. You can forge your own destiny. Look, it's possible. Look at these people.
Be your own man.
Yes.
Because it's all about being a man, isn't it?
It is,
be your own man.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes, definitely. Yes. Definitely. I think that works. So, we have our murderer.
Of course we do.
Of course it is. Because... what does any good mother do? Must be Fiesta.
It must be through something, eh?
A good mother will protect her flock.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
The motorist, Billy Jessup, the boy who picked on my son.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Go on. Yes, that works. It's all got a little bit Friday the 13th, by the way.
We can go now. Yeah.
It has, hasn't it? Yeah. I mean, it's up to us how we want to do this. I mean, obviously, we need to still play it through. But we need, at least now we know where we're going with it. So we're in our third act. We've got the cop. He's asked about what's going on in there, what's going on in there. So I don't think we get that slapstick moment with...
because it's all too shocking.
All of the stuff with the bodies. I don't think that's going to work with these characters.
No, I don't think we do, no.
He's asking about what's going in there. The phone rings in the library. Wadsworth goes and answers it. Comes back and says to the cop, "It's for you." So that then puts the cop in a room on his own. And then somebody gets a vision of killing the cop.
Right. Yes.
And then there's a thump. So the question is, what are the other people doing while that happens? Oh yes, of course, we said Wadsworth is going to say to them, "We don't want the cop here. You can't reveal it to him because, one of you's a murderer."
Mm.
So that kind of trying to encourage them to all go off and find clues again. Leave me to deal with the cop. Or something like that. I don't know. That doesn't work.
I kind of know where you're going. I think I might have a solution, is that we switch around, because during all of this, Wadsworth has been the one in the know. He knows what's going on, he's the smug one. But things have changed because of our third act switch. So instead of having Wadsworth go, I know who did it, it will be, I think, if I'm thinking of this properly, it's either going to be Sarah or Judy.
Okay.
Because someone needs to reveal everything that we just fed into the film. The audience needs that to have that resolved. And I feel like I know who did it is the...
We're not quite there yet, because we've still got to kill the cop.
Did we not kill the
I
cop?
thought... yeah, sorry. I was getting sidetracked. Yes, okay. And we still got to have the singing telegram turn up and get killed as well, because that all happens at the same time, doesn't it?
I think you're right. At this point, it doesn't matter. Everything's accelerating.
You know, you're saying you want to kind of swapping the tables around a bit. Mm-hmm. You get another vision, but it's Wadsworth that has the vision. It's something that he wasn't anticipating.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when we get the lights go out again, which is the cop gets killed. The realtor turns up as the singing telegram and gets shot or gets killed in some fashion. And that will allow us to accelerate towards our third act climax, the gathering, and who people suspect.
Yeah, I know who did it. Yeah.
Yes! Sorry, I just went a bit mad there because...
Yes, you did.
No, it makes sense. It should be Sarah. It should be Sarah that does the reveal. I think I've strayed slightly into Big Bang Theory territory here.
Oh, right, okay.
Because if we're going to set up Alan's mum as the murderer, having Sarah doing the reveal, it's almost that dichotomy between Howard and his missus and his mum.
Oh my God, you watched that episode. I know the one you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, it has to. It has to.
Does he like the pancakes? He didn't try them yet!
Let's just play it out that way. By the way, apart from dotting the T's and crossing the I's, as it were, we just completed the movie.
We have. Technically, yeah. It's just about the
details.
It's just the details, yeah. Mm-hmm. So they all gather back in the study.
Sarah says, I know who did it. Mm-hmm. We get our recap. So one of the things I really loved about the original movie was the multiple endings.
And the other way would be to have each person lay out their theory.
Yes.
It could have happened like this.
It could have happened like this. But it could have happened like this. And then Wadsworth goes, yes, but...
It actually happened like this. So in that case then, so if we jump back into Act 1, rather than having cards in the study that they have to put the thing in, each person is given an envelope to put their suspicions in.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So Wadsworth then when they come back, they give them all to him. Right. Well, somebody said it should have happened like this, and then they do the run around, and he does that for a couple of them.
Okay, yeah, that works. Yeah. I just wanted to have that
of
various
course.
endings.
So we still get the Tim Curry moment with him acting, and it would be brilliant as well that bit because obviously in Clue. He's always picking on Mr. Green. So we get to have some lovely play-off between him and Robin Williams at that moment. You know, we really lay into these two comedy geniuses.
Oh,
you know.
Curry and Robin Williams. Man.
Yeah.
That would have been amazing. That would have been fantastic.
I miss Robin Williams. So that works. And in the middle of all of this, so like Clue, we say maybe get two. Starting on the third one, at which point Sarah just goes, no, I know who did it. Oh. You think you can compare better than me? Tell us.
Show me what you got!
And then she goes through it. You did it here. Yes, and of course, all the way through this, Alan's mum's just playing it cool. Just, you know, being kind of shocked and horrified that somebody would suggest that she could do all of these things. And at the end, it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Why would I do all of these things? Because you're his mother and you want to keep him close. Everybody who's been killed has threatened your family and your home. Mr. Body has to die because that's the starting thing. Yeah. And she allowed herself, because it's a game, to go to that dark place. It doesn't matter. Nobody is actually dead.
We could, I don't know, this is probably too deep, but you could even go a step further. At dinner, you could have Mr. Body at the head of the table, Alan on one side and his mother on the other side. You literally separated me from my son.
Yes, but you also took the head, or you also sat, it's our house. You sat at my husband's place.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's why Mr. Body had to die. The motorist, yes, the motorist had to die because he's the great. He was his bully. The cook had to die because that was Aunt Nora, wasn't it? You've taken my house.
Of course, yes.
Which is the same reason why the realtor had to die. You sold my house.
Oh, God almighty, it works all the way through, doesn't it?
And Carl had to die because you ruined the business. You destroyed one of the machines with your horrible shoe.
Have all of the stars. Have all of the stars. Congratulations, sir.
And
congratulations.
And at the end, yes, and Wadsworth just goes, well done. Well done,
Yeah.
you've solved it. And everything resets back to normal.
Yes.
They're kids again.
Yes.
So we still get that, not so much that moment between Alan and his father, when he comes back to get his speech.
Mm-hmm.
It's between them as a family, and it's like, I think we need to talk about boundaries and what's happening to us. But it also means that we can still keep the flash forward.
Yes, of
to
course.
them inviting the family.
Absolutely, because I love that about that. That's a great little touch. We've got a movie. Holy crap, we've got a movie. Woof.
Somehow.
Woof.
Woof, indeed.
That's my other dog imitation.
So we're going to do what we always do. We're going to take a couple of minutes, gather our thoughts, decide which way we want to vote with this, and we'll be right back. Unlucky for some, but for me it is a record-breaking 13 stars.
Ditto!
Okay, well, I was going to say age before beauty.
I'll take that. Yeah, I'll take that. I am surprised as heck that this story just made any kind of sense. And realistically looking back, which one do I want to watch? Which one did I enjoy? It's gonna be Juedo. It's going to be Juedo. This works, much to my surprise, but it's not the best movie. Juedo is.
Coming into this, I would have agreed with you 100%. That Juedo is the best one. It's the one that I'd want to see. Somehow we've pulled this one out, though, and I think...
Like, you're stuck, aren't you?
Let's put it this way. If we look at the original films, I would always vote for Jumanji. As a family film, it works. It's one of my favourite films. I love it. I love it for its escapist element, all of those kind of things. And the messaging in it is direct enough, but also subtle at the same time. That's why it works as a film. And I think, with a bit of tweaking in a second, third draft, we've created a decent family film here that has an important message for families. Not quite the same, but it's in the same ballpark.
It's more a message for parents than it is for children.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I understand what you're saying.
I'm trying to weigh up which one has the greater value as a movie. One that I enjoy and have a laugh at, like Juedo, or one that is a family-friendly movie that has a message to it. I'm going to go Clumanji. Sorry, I think the messaging there at the end, again, it's rough as hell in what we've done here today.
Oh God, yeah, we're talking total first draft.
Yeah,
totally.
But the nucleus is there that something quite special could grow from. So I'm going with Clumanji.
I'm not going to disagree with you. I can understand why you draw that conclusion. I was going much more from the what do I enjoy, and this the first one, the Juedo, I enjoyed. This was hard. Harder. I thought it was going to fall apart multiple times. Even though we pulled it out, it was by the skin of our teeth a bunch of times, and I feel like that's the difference for me.
Yeah, I would agree. This one was broader strokes. We didn't go into as much of the minutiae of it as we could have done, as we did with Juedo. But even so, even with that, I think we've got something there that can be...
Yeah, like I say, I don't disagree with you. I can see why you would have that point. And that's fair enough. We agree but disagree.
Exactly. So for the second time in a row, we are at loggerheads. 1 vote each. And now it's over to you lovely people at home. So have a look over what we've done here, have a think about it, and again, as I said at the start, have a look at our community tab here on YouTube, check out our story for the next 24 hours on the Zadrum Instagram, and also our aside from Twitter, which X, which will be running through until the middle of next week. Cast your votes, and then in March we will reveal which of our 2 new theoretical movies is our maybe movie for February. That's it for us from here. We will be back at some point next month. Until then, as always, look after yourselves, look after each other, and we will see you soon.
As always, guys, TTFN.
You know, all of this talk about games, I think we should play a game. And I think it's been quite a while since we've had a engaging round of Nosy Dicey.
Oh, God, Nosy Dicey!
I'll get the tissues.
Ba 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 ba.